Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded NBA Playoff Preview Show. I am your host, Eric. My main man right over there, Ron. How are you?
I'm doing well. You guys finally have somebody that know what they're talking about on the show.
Oh, here we go. I was hoping, hopefully at some point we're joined by Kenny.
Yeah.
Not sure if he's going to join in or not, but we wanted to get some of this playoff discussion started, right? Because the playoffs are coming up. We've got the play-in games tomorrow night. The two games left: Chicago and Miami, and then also have the Timberwolves and the Thunder as the second game in the West. Those are both tomorrow. Tomorrow night. So we're basically going to talk about each one of the matchups that are currently in place. Obviously, with the play-in game, we're going to have to pick a winner today, right now, and then talk about those. But we're going to start off, Ron, in the Eastern Conference, and that would be the number one seed, the Milwaukee Bucks, versus either the Chicago Bulls or the Miami Heat. Bucks finished the season 58-24, while the Chicago Bulls finished 40-42. Miami Heat 44-38. Milwaukee, number one rebounding team in the league this season, 48.6 rebounds per game, while the Heat was number 5 in steals as a team. And free throws, 83.1. Your thoughts on this series?
It's just a matter of how many games, really. Like, look, the Bucks are just much better than either of those teams. They're, in that play-in for a reason. I mean, when you look at the skill level of those teams, it doesn't compare to what Milwaukee is.
Yeah, Milwaukee very deep, probably the deepest team in the league right now.
Yes.
So I could see that. I think Miami with the experience, though, I think Miami does get out of that play-in game, and the Bucks versus the Heat. Not that the Heat will win, but I do feel like the Heat have at least a shot to take a game or two.
Well, I just think, you have Jimmy Butler, and he comes up big. Like I like Butler. He's a good player. He isn't a number one, but he's a solid number two, and he can have a big game to win at least a game or two.
Yeah, listen, Jimmy Buckets, we know what he brings.
Yeah.
Spoelstra, too, on the other side as a coach. And they got Budenholzer in Milwaukee, and he has won a championship. But you can't discredit what Spoelstra has been able to do consistently as a coach.
They're a good defensive team.
Yeah, very good defensive team.
And we know what could happen.
Yep, scrappy. Again, Bam Adebayo, I think, is the key in this game. Can he kind of slow down Giannis? That's going to be a question. Again, who can slow down?
He's going to put the body on him.
Yeah. So
and that's a big man to put the body on.
And we still haven't even talked. Listen, Chris Middleton has not really been Chris Middleton this season. If he can still continue to come into form, and that's a very good option. Drew Holiday for the Bucks has had a phenomenal season.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the standpoint of they still don't even have what would be considered their number two guy in Middleton. If he can get hot here in the playoffs,
he's just going to get more games, Eric. He's got to have more games under his belt to get into a flow. Because look at all the time he's missed.
Yeah,
that's a lot of time, and he needs to get. We say this all the time: game shape, and it takes more than a couple of dozen games to do that. And he's been out a while.
Yeah.
So he's behind a long way, and he's got to get back into the rhythm of shooting. Even defense, he's going to be behind a step. So it's going to take him some time. So by the time the conference finals comes around, I expect him to be a full go.
That's right. Bucks out of the series, no question, pretty much in your mind.
Yeah, I don't think it's a doubt.
And do you give the Bulls a shot to beat the Heat? At least
I don't give the Bulls a shot.
Okay.
I think the Heat are going to wrap that up. And
on the same page.
Yeah, I just think they're better defensively. They have some players on offense that are just big-time players that shine in a big moment. And when you're talking one game, I will take the Heat in one game.
Let's talk about that 2-7 matchup. That's the Boston Celtics versus the Atlanta Hawks. Boston finished the season 57-25, 41 and 41. Boston did win this series 3-0 in the regular season, so they were unblemished when it came to playing the Hawks this season. Boston, number 4th offensively this year, 117.9 points per game, 4th in free throw percentage at 81.2. The Hawks actually had a better offense, believe it or not. 118.4, that was 3rd, and a better free throw at 81.8. What is your key in this series? A lot of people, most people picking Boston pretty much to walk right through this series. Do you feel the same way?
It should be. It should be. But if Trae Young decides to show up, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take him to show up. He's going to play like the projection was supposed to be for this guy. You know, this guy is supposed to be the man down there in Atlanta, and he hasn't lived up to that. And, you know, the past 2 seasons, they're just floating along, and this is a better team on paper than what it's supposed to be. I mean, that what it is. So it's supposed to be a better team, and he's the reason, you know, but he hasn't performed up to those standards, and that's why they've just been floundering around. And you know, they made the playoffs this season, but they had to just scrape by in that spot.
Yeah, think about the coaching change, right? They bring in Quinn Snyder late in the season. He's trying to get this team to kind of be up to his level and what his expectations are. I have a lot of keys, though, with Jason Tatum. How big of a playoff push does he have to have this season? Because we're starting to question he's good enough to be one of the top 10 players in the league every year. But can he win with this team? And then the Jaylen Brown situation, where who knows if he wants to even stay with this team, if next season they may look to trade him. How does that play into this playoff series? Could that give the Hawks an advantage?
There's a lot of things that this series could bring out on both sides of the ball. I mean, you look at that Jaylen Brown situation with him potentially leaving, you know, or getting traded or whatever it may be, right? But these are the 2 guys that, you know, when you look at the conference finals and the finals of the NBA last season, fourth quarter was a problem.
Yes.
And they tend to, and we saw this, they tend to complain way too much instead of just getting the job done. If that happens again this year, they could be in trouble. They could be in trouble.
Listen.
And when you get a guy like Trae Young on the other side that can shoot the lights out when he's hot, will it win 4 games? I doubt it. But he can win 2 games, you know, and then the other guys have to step up to win a 3rd and a 4th. I don't see that happening, but it is possible. It is possible. And if they continue to squander big leads against teams that they should just dominate, I mean, that's been a problem too.
Yeah. A couple of things that scare me. Jaylen Brown, that hand injury. So we talk about ball handling, and one of the big things that happened last season and them having a lot of turnovers in the playoffs.
Yep.
Now you've got an injured hand. He cut his hand supposedly watering his plants on a vase. I don't know how much of that I believe. And then I would say this, Trae Young 2 years ago against the Knicks, he went completely crazy and just took over the series.
Right.
He has the ability to do that. Can Boston's defense, now think about it too, Rob Williams still not 100%, kind of in and out of the lineup. Al Horford looking towards retirement. He said he's done after this season. I'm starting to feel like this might be the perfect storm. I think people are overlooking Atlanta and the ability to
Absolutely.
Boston may struggle in this series. And if they do, I think it hurts them getting to the finals again, because I think they need to get some quick series, get some rest, and be able to go into the next series, especially being the 2 seed, because you're possibly facing Philadelphia.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things that are at play here. I would not be surprised if they get beat by Atlanta. I expect them to take care of business against Atlanta, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, listen, I think they've been inconsistent at the wrong times and losing to teams that they really shouldn't have.
Right.
Losing to Houston. What did they lose? 3 to Orlando. Like, there's
Right.
teams that they were much
Yeah,
better
that's
than that.
bad.
Yeah, so I get nervous in this series. Even as a Celtic fan, I'm not as confident about them just kind of smooth sailing through this series.
Yeah, the way I look at it, the way I look at it, Eric, is wait and see.
Yeah.
Because we got to see what they play like, in crucial moments. If it's a close game, are they going to throw the ball away? Are they going to cough it up in the fourth quarter and give up leads? We've seen it a lot. And I don't know. I'm not very confident in this team.
And you can't question. Listen, Quinn Snyder really doesn't have a winning resume when it comes to the playoffs.
Right.
But he's been in the playoffs numerous times.
Right.
This is Joe Mazzulla's first crack at the playoffs. Does he falter under the pressure of making these decisions? Now, you may play a series, a team 7 times.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's how you change these matchups and make decisions that
absolutely
do a series.
And not for nothing, it's a brittle team. I mean, when you look at all these players, how often are they in and out of the lineup between Smart and Brown and Williams, and the whole cast of characters are in and out of the lineup because they can't stay healthy like 2 weeks in a row.
So, very interesting series. I think people are overlooking it.
Yeah, this might be closer than what people realize.
At the 3-6 matchup, you got the Philadelphia 76ers versus the Brooklyn Nets. Philly was 54-28 on the season. Brooklyn 45-37. Philly did sweep this series in the regular season 4-0. So beat them all 4 games. Number 1 team in free throw percentage, Philadelphia at 83.5, and the number 1 3-point percentage, which I was unaware of, at 38.7. But Brooklyn, when you look at a defensive standpoint, number 1 block per game at 6.2, and they were 5th overall in 3-point percentage at 37.1. So they shoot the ball very well. Embiid, though, motivated. Do you think that might be a factor? Look, MVP possibly. But the struggles the Nets have had all season, can the Nets make this a series?
I don't think so. I just think the Sixers are just too good for them. Look, nobody's going to match up to Embiid. That's a fact. So you got to do it elsewhere, right? So you have to, give up certain amount of points to Embiid, but you have to control everybody else. So whether they're going to double Embiid and make him pass and have somebody else shoot the ball, that doesn't work because, like you said, their shooting percentage. I mean, where can Brooklyn stop them? I don't think they have the personnel to stop them. I mean, let me tell you, they exceeded everybody's expectations after the trade deadline.
Absolutely. You think about losing Kyrie at one point, losing Kevin Durant. You just assumed this team would falter,
and they didn't. They didn't. And you got to give the coach some credit there, right? And you got to give those players credit because all the naysayers out there, pointed their fingers at this team and said, "Oh my God, they're going to be terrible now." And what did they do? They just woke up in the morning, went out and did their jobs, and this is what they did. They made the playoffs. They look like a solid team. I don't know what they can do to bring that team up a notch, but
you're playing a very good 1-2 combo. James Harden,
right?
Joel Embiid. I think Embiid. Look, he has been the best big man in the league this year. We can talk about Jokic, but Embiid's been dominant.
Yeah,
there is nobody down low that can stop him.
No,
and it's going to be. I think that's the kind of game Philly's going to play. Let's just get it down low. Let Embiid get his 30+ points, maybe 40 points. Harden chips in his 20, and they've got enough pieces around them to make sure that they win.
Yeah, like I said, they're going to have to double Embiid and hope.
Yeah,
that's all they can do.
It's going to be a fun series, though. I think that's a fun series.
As much as shooters can get hot, shooters can get cold. And
Yeah.
that's what they got to hope for. That's
Yeah.
that's literally what they have to hope for.
So the 4-5 matchup is probably one of the funnest ones in the East because you have the
Yes.
Cleveland Cavaliers versus the New York Knicks. Knicks won this series 3-1 in the regular season. So you talk about, Donovan Mitchell. Look, they shot very well this season as a team, 48.8, which was 5th overall in the NBA.
Yep.
Number 2 rebounding team, though, with the Knicks. They're going to control the boards. They're going to make it an ugly, scrappy game. Tom Thibodeau likes to kind of muck things up. Is the best term that he doesn't want something clean and he wants to make it difficult. Donovan Mitchell needs to be this 40-point per game type of player, I think, for Cleveland to get out of this series, which is surprising because I didn't believe in the Knicks. I thought the Knicks were going to be one of those teams that just fails this season, and yet they've played well all year. So I'm going to see how Cleveland responds to how the Knicks are going to approach this series.
Okay, so the one advantage the Cavs have, they have home court. This series can definitely go 7. Wait, is it a 5-game series or 7?
7.
So it could go 7. It's going to be close. And I think this is what Donovan Mitchell was paid for, right? This is why they got him.
But again, think about his failures in Utah.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, you could still see that same scenario happen here. Look, he's got to score 40, and then you got to get all these other guys, Mobley and some of those other guys,
Right.
contributors.
So this is where we're at. So if Cleveland gets past the Knicks, then you have to say, well, it probably wasn't Donovan Mitchell's fault when he was in Utah.
Yeah.
And that says volumes because look where Minnesota is right now.
Yeah, they're in a play.
And his boy went to Minnesota, right?
Yeah. And Rudy Gobert, throwing punches as his own teammates. So that's always a positive.
Right. So, there might have been something going on in Utah that we didn't know, and it's looking more and more like that because Cleveland looks really good this year, especially at home. And I think that's going to be a tough series. That's going to be a tough series.
It's going to be a fun, I think, maybe a little bit of that old school series where it's going to I think both of these teams are going to want to prove. Listen,
I like Cleveland in it. I like Cleveland.
The Cavs want to move past the LeBron era.
Yep.
But the
This
Knicks
is their opportunity.
And the Knicks, though, are trying to be relevant again.
Yeah.
So it's like that clash of two different dynamics. This series is going to be fun because of that.
Yeah.
Because whichever team doesn't make it out of this, there's going to be a lot of questions. Can they do it post LeBron? Can the Knicks legitimately be a contender in the East ever again?
Right, because you have Randall and all those guys. Are they good enough, right?
Brunson came over, and that was a bad move, and look at how well he's done for them. So I love this series because I think it's probably the most interesting story.
The 4 in the East. Yeah.
I think this is going to be the most interesting storyline. But that's the Eastern Conference. We're going to break down who wins and goes to the finals, and our finals pick at the end of the show. But we're going to talk some Western Conference now, Ron, because again, there's another conference out there, and there's some great series here in these NBA playoffs for 2023 that we're really excited about. This is, once again, Sports Unfolded, very special 2023 NBA playoff preview show. You see the ticker running on the bottom. Please follow us on all our social media outlets, and then join us tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting for our regularly scheduled program where we cover all of today's top sports stories of the past week. And we have some fun. We have some great segments in that. So tune in for that tomorrow night, 6 p.m., Rhode Island Broadcasting. But let's move on to this Western Conference round. The number 1 seed, Denver Nuggets, will face either the Timberwolves or the Thunder. They're playing game again tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Your thoughts on Denver? So 53-29 on the season. Minnesota 42-40, and the OKC Thunder, believe it or not, still alive here, 40-42. Your thoughts on Denver, though? Denver seems like that team that nobody believes in, even though they're the 1 seed coming out of the West. Do you feel the same way?
Well, it's. I don't think they lose this series to either team. I think Minnesota may have the best chance of that. I mean, when you see who they have, at the middle of the floor,
Yeah, you got
especially.
you got Cat, and then you got Rudy Gobert, so you got the big.
Right. But the problem is there's something wrong there, right? I mean, obviously, Rudy Gobert coming in, I don't think he's really settling in with this team very well. I mean, throwing punches at your own teammate, like you said, kind of.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, so there's something wrong with the chemistry there. I mean, on paper, you'll look at these names and it's like, well, they have a really good shot because I picked this team to go to the finals,
I know you did.
and they just don't look. They don't look like they belong there.
Yeah, they didn't mesh well.
Right. I mean, they have the skill level to do it, but I don't think they have the chemistry to do it. So therefore, I'm taking Denver over either team. Thunder just doesn't have enough right now.
Yeah,
Look,
very young team, but you got to be impressed with what they did. You
Yes,
lose your
absolutely.
number one pick. You lose your number one pick, right?
and then you do this.
Chet Holmgren right off the
Yep.
bat, didn't even play a game, and you still make the playoff. Think about the outlook for this team when they come back next season. So that's a positive for them.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I think Timberwolves have more talent, should get out of that playing game. Denver, to me, everybody's sleeping on them in the West.
yeah,
But then the number one shooting team in the league at 50.4. They shoot the ball very well.
yeah.
They pass the ball very well. The number 2 assist team in the league.
You get the Joker.
28.9. Fourth in 3-point percentage at 30.
I know.
They do so many things well,
Where's the holes?
right? But yet everybody's. We're going to talk about the Suns. We're going to talk about the Warriors, the Lakers, Memphis. And Denver seems to be that team everybody's just counting out.
Yeah,
Don't sleep on them.
No.
And I agree with you. I think no matter which team they face here in the first round, they get through. They get past that.
yeah. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's a sweep, to be honest with you.
It easily could be, especially if it's the Thunder. And no knock on the Thunder. Great season just to get into the playoffs. I just think they're not there yet. They're probably a year or two away.
Yeah,
So the 2-7 matchup, this one has a lot of intrigue as well because the Memphis Grizzlies, we know their chaos all season long with John Morant and that whole story of what happened with him. But then you got the number 7 Los Angeles Lakers, and can LeBron hold his team together again one more time? Anthony Davis, can he be that MVP type player that would ultimately be able to win a series? How do you see this series going? Because to me, this is a very hard read.
this is a hard read because when you look at Memphis last season in the playoffs, defensively, they weren't very good. I mean, especially when you take a look at that Minnesota series they had and the Golden State series that they had. They gave up the farm there, especially when Morant went out. Now, the Lakers have the firepower when they're healthy.
Which they are right now.
Right now, they are. Can they stay that way is another question. But I mean, what's the kid? What's the? Oh God, I can't think of who they picked up mid trade deadline. He's got like 17.9 points a game. I can't even think of his name. Jesus, what was his name?
Hamucha or not him?
No. Point guard. He replaced what's his face? I can't even think of his name.
You're talking about Russell.
Yeah. So I mean, he's going to be the key in this, right? Because if there is an injury, and it's an if there is an injury, he's going to have to play way more and have to, carry the load.
Yeah.
But with the three of them,
D'Angelo Russell.
yes, that's what it is. D'Angelo Russell. Thank you. But with LeBron, Antonio Davis, and Russell, that's a threesome that you have to fear, and I think they can beat Memphis.
I truly do think they can as well. I think this John Morant thing is kind of hung over this team now in
Yeah.
Memphis all season long.
Yeah.
And I feel like, look, the Grizzlies are fast. They play intense basketball. They're second in the league in steals this year, 8.3. So they like to get their hands in there. They're third in blocks at 5.8. One of the better rebounding teams. They were second overall in rebounds. But I feel like that experience with the Lakers and LeBron knowing that door's closing,
Look.
that window is almost shut.
Look, if Memphis goes up 2-0, right? LeBron is winning that third game by himself. You know this. You know he's going to do it at least once,
He
right?
still has it in him, absolutely.
Now, you take that and the message that sends to the rest of the team, that means the other two are going to play a much better game in game 4, and there you have a split right there. And then anything is on after that.
And I
So,
they're not going to panic being,
No.
not having home court. They're veterans. They've been there before.
that's right.
I love this series because I think I know how we all feel about LeBron. I really do. But he can submit himself as one of the. I mean, he is one of the greatest of all time. We can rank one, but he could basically say, look, at his age, if he could get the Lakers out of this series, at his age and what he's still able to do, that goes a long way to say, look, it may not be the greatest of all time, but longevity-wise, yes. Like,
I'll tell you what.
that late in his career and do
I'm
it.
going to go a step further on this. And looking at the bracket right now, they drew perfectly for them. They don't have to worry about Phoenix and Kevin Durant, right?
Yep.
They don't have to worry about the Clippers. They don't have to worry about Denver. So what they do have to worry about is an aging Golden State team.
Yep.
A young Sacramento team and a Memphis team that, even though they're the number 2 seed, there are definitely issues there. And I think this is the perfect draw for LA. They could actually, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, they could actually make the conference finals.
I think I said something on our future prospects about the Lakers winning a series. So
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now that the opportunities are there.
The opportunity is there.
for them to take this
It's
series.
set up nicely for them. Now it's just, will they be able to take advantage of that?
Yeah, I think
Is
that's
that light switch turning on?
Yep, health. I think Anthony Davis the last month, even with LeBron out, has definitely stepped up his game now and turned back into that player that we know he is. So if
Just got to stay healthy.
yeah, if he can stay healthy, LeBron just again drinks out of that fountain of youth again, where he can have one of those big games and triple double status. Right? They could easily take this series.
Yeah, and I don't think John Morant is going to be, dunking on a healthy Antonio Davis and LeBron both on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fun.
And he's going to get punished going in there.
Yeah. The 3-6 matchup in the West has to be considered the funnest matchup, though, out of the entire NBA playoffs.
They have youth versus age.
And you're talking about the two highest scoring teams in the league this season. So there's going to be points galore. If you like defense, don't watch this series because that's not what you're getting. But if you like offense, number one offensive team, Sacramento, 120.7 points per game. Warriors number 2 at 118.9. So they're going to put up some points. Second overall 3-point percentage shooting were the Warriors. Number 1 against in assists. Third in assists, the Kings. And again, second overall in field goal percentage at 49.4. They shoot the ball well. These teams want to run. They want to play some exciting basketball. Team here, home court. I think, listen, I know you doubt the Kings because of their youth, but the Warriors have proven this season they cannot win on the road. So this series will go 7, but I think the Kings having home court, they get past the Warriors tonight.
Yeah, I don't think so. Look, I love the way they have built the team. I think this is going to be an experience thing, and they're going to fail, but they're going to have that that light bulb moment, like, oh, this is what we need to do to win. And I think next year could be a big difference. Like, I would expect them to be right where they are now next year, but they will not be on the losing side next year. This year, I think they're going to lose it.
The Warriors did win the regular season 3-1, so they do have that advantage. Like they have to play them. But I'd be curious to see. And again, another one of my future prospects, Mike Brown, named head coach of the year. Told you that was going to happen as well.
Look, when you have a team like this, you can't help but like it, right? Like, you like everything that they stand for, really. When you look at this team that's been floundering, since what, Chris Webber?
17 years they hadn't made the playoffs. The longest professional playoff team drought.
Right. And that's gone, right?
Gone. New York Jets now own it.
Yeah, you're on the clock. You better hurry up and get Aaron.
Yes.
But look, this is an impressive thing for the Kings. So, I'd like to see. Look, would I love to see the Kings beat Golden State? Absolutely. Do I think it's going to happen? No.
I want this series going 7. I'll tell you that much. I don't care what happens. This series needs to go 7 because I feel like you're going to get 140 to 139 point games like every single night.
These teams just know how to score.
Boy, yeah, they love it.
And the key is, Brown has to tell these guys, just go out there and play your game.
Yeah, don't even think about the playoffs. It's not the playoffs. It's just
another game.
Season. But again, losing 3-1 in the regular season, I don't know how well that worked for him either. 4-5 matchup. Phoenix Suns, LA Clippers. This series in the regular season, it was tied 2-2. They split. Phoenix, we know what they have on the court. And the Clippers, again, that
we know what they don't have on the court.
Exactly. So that injury, Paul George, how that's going to affect them. Will Kawhi Leonard be 100% throughout this series? KD, can he help Chris Paul get past that playoff hump and possibly win the NBA title?
I mean, anything is possible, but this series I think is lopsided because the Clippers don't have the defense like the Celtics had last year to contain KD. I don't think they're going to be able to stop KD. I don't think there's anybody on that team that can stop him. The Celtics had the players to stop him. That defense was just overwhelming, and Durant didn't know what to do with it. Let's just be real with that. That's what happened. They went against the Brooklyn Nets, and they basically completely shut them down. And that is not what the Clippers can do. Not against KD. They can't do it. They don't have the horses. Not with Paul George out.
No,
that's not happening.
Think about Devin Booker and what he means now.
Yep.
And then you still got Chris Paul. So I those three, I think could take over the series.
It's too much.
Yeah, I like where the Suns are heading going into the playoffs. They were a very solid team. Durant came back, got his legs under him, is able to be a key contributor to this team. It's not like you're questioning, can he fit? He's proven that he can. This is another fun series, though, because they split in the regular season. Not sure when Durant and if he was involved in any of the games.
Right.
So that'll be an interesting. And I like the coaching matchup here. Monty Williams, Ty Lue. I like that dynamic of how they can possibly, work each other and play off of each other. So that's going to be a fun series.
It is.
But Ron, as we normally like to do, we like to torture ourselves at the end. That's our Western Conference breakdown. But we're going to talk who wins this thing. So how do you want to do this? You want to go series by series and get your Western Conference winners, and then we do the same thing for the East, and then we'll the finals.
That's fine. We can do that.
So we're going to go Denver, Minnesota, 1-8 matchup. We're assuming Minnesota wins.
Denver. It doesn't matter who wins.
Agreed. I went Nuggets as well. Suns Clippers is the 4-5 matchup.
I get the Suns.
I had the Suns as well. Kings Warriors is the 3-6 matchup.
I have Golden State.
I went Kings. I went Sacramento here. 2-7 matchup. Grizzlies Lakers. I know you want to do it. You want to do it. You want to pick LA. It's paining you.
It is paining me.
Let's do it, my friend. Go out on that limb.
I'm going to go LA.
You're going LA. I went Memphis.
Yeah.
So we've got Nuggets, Suns in the second round. Your pick.
That's really the Western Conference Finals in my book. I'm going to go Nuggets.
Oh, wow. Okay. I went Suns. Here. Kings, Grizzlies, or you have Lakers, Grizzlies. No, you have, I'm sorry, Warriors.
Golden State and Lakers.
Yes. What do you got coming out of there?
Golden State.
Wow. I got Kings, Grizzlies in my second round. I got Grizzlies coming out. So my Western Conference Finals, as it stands, Suns, Grizzlies.
I don't even like mine. I don't like mine.
And you have Lakers. No. What do you have?
Golden State and Nuggets.
Nuggets. Okay.
Denver's coming out.
You got the Nuggets getting to the finals.
Yeah.
I have the Suns defeating the Grizzlies. The Suns are in the finals. All right. Eastern Conference, my friend.
Yeah, I kind of like the Memphis Grizzlies through this. But there's something telling me that LeBron can just steal the series.
He could. I'm not denying that.
I don't think LeBron's going to go out with a whimper.
So, Bucks, Heat, the 1-8 matchup.
Bucks.
Agreed. Bucks. Cavs, Knicks, 4-5 matchup.
I got Cavs.
I have Cavs as well. 76ers net.
76ers.
I have Sixers as well in the 3-6 matchup. Celtics, Hawks, the 2-7 matchup.
I got the Celtics.
Hey, I thought you were going to go different. You got me nervous. I have the Celtics as well. So we have the same second round. So Bucks, Cavs. Who do you have?
Bucks.
I have Bucks as well. Sixers, Celtics. Who do you have?
The Celtics.
I do as well. So we have the same Eastern Conference final, which is the Bucks, Celtics. Who do you got, Ron, coming out of the East?
Bucks.
I have the Bucks as well. So your matchup is Nuggets, Bucks.
Yep.
I have Suns, Bucks. Your NBA winner in holding the trophy up this season will be?
Like I said in the preview show, the Bucks.
I have in a shocker in 7 games the Phoenix Suns, Chris Paul getting his championship with KD, and KD gets his redemption, the rising of the Phoenix.
Okay, I made you jump.
You can quote that. Phoenix Suns in 7. So, Bucks, Suns as our champions. I love doing these. So much fun. We are going to be on tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting. So check us out. Make sure that you watch. We're going to have so much to talk about. And you can join in on our predictions and get on that. So a lot of fun with that as well. So many great segments as well. That pick and roll, future prospects. We've got a lot of fun things in the triple play. Looking forward to tomorrow night's show. Ron, thank you for your basketball insight. Sorry Kenny couldn't join us tonight. We'll make sure we get him on, at least for the finals. We could talk some NBA finals with Kenny. But, Ron, I will see you tomorrow night, my friend. All we ever ask for every show we do is peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.